Hey, you there. Thank you for watching, and welcome to Forged Lines Forever. Today, I have a 5v5 custom match here on the most amazing The Crisis Map Generator. Let's go ahead and introduce our players and team, starting with the team up here to the northeast for Team 1, and ending with the team in the southwest of Team 2. Starting off in the front positions here for Team 1, it is Mechs Clicker going first land as a Cybern in Royal Blue. And to his west, the other frontline player, we have Trigram for Heaven. Probably call him either Heaven or Try, going first land as UEF in Snow White. To his northeast in one of the rear guard slots, but pretty much the rear guard slot is in orange. We have RGB VCMG. Gotta call him RGB for short, going first land in Pac-Man Yellow as another Cybern. And to his southeast, another Cybern, a Pulse 2, going first land as a Cybern in a Ruby Red. And last but not least, here for Team 1, we have in orange, the color orange, Legend Smith going first land as a Seraphim. Team 1's racial makeup here, we have 3 Cyberns, a UEF, and a Seraphim. No Aeon Tech for Team 1. Down here in the southwest here for Team 2, starting off in the front, we have in Amethyst Purple, Ninrai, maybe it's Ninraya, but depends how you pronounce that I, going first land as an Aeon in Amethyst Purple. To his northwest, we have Chiz, I think that's how you say that, going first land as a Seraphim in Glow in the Dark Green. And in the middle here, we have Caliber going first land as a Seraphim in Chevy Crimson. Into his southeast in Stitch Blue, we have Babel. Hopefully he will build a tower to heaven, going first land, second land as well, because we know what happens to the people who built the Tower Babel. And he is moving eastward, and he is in Stitch Blue as an Aeon. Last but not least, there for Team 2 in Tropical Ocean Blue, we have Judah X, or probably just call him Judah for short, going first land, second air, most likely, because he is in the rear gutter slot, and he is in Tropical Ocean Blue. For Team 2, for the racial makeup, we have, was it 1 Aeon, 2 Seraphim, 2 Aeon, 2 Seraphim, 1 UEF. No Cybern for Team 2, so Team 2 doesn't have access to Cybern Tech. Team 1 does not have access to Aeon Tech. In the reclaim side of things for this map, we have 24,960. I'm going to just round that off to a nice, even 25,000 reclaim. I think that's enough to build a chicken. I think it's a little under a chicken. I think chicken's 26,000. No. Anyway. A lot of mass for players to scoop up. And in terms of mass point distributions here, well, we have a couple sets in the middle here. A set of 3 there. But we have a couple of sets to the east and the west. It's not really like one spot that has a bunch of it. It's kind of dotted everywhere. So I'm expected to see a lot of these configurations for the land factories where it's just one max consisting of 4 land facilities just to produce as many units as they can. I expected to see that everywhere here this game. We have a dropout here to the east, reducing the travel time here for the player of Mechs. He does have that air facility. That'll help him out with some T1 bombers and interceptor support early on. We have this nice chunky mass rock here, 150. Nice little nugget there. It's more of just a giant rock, but in terms of the total 25,000, it is a nugget. We do have some movement here in the middle from both of our red players, but they're not really going that far to the center. You would think that both of our teams would grab this triple right here and then probably fight over the 2 in the middle. This map is pretty flat. It is a full 20 by 20, or just barely inching off that. I'd say that's close enough to a 20 by 20. A bunch of little tiny plateaus, but they can be traversed up to with land, so not completely isolated off of the map. We do have a plateau section, up here to the northwest and southeast, but there are a little bit of land incursion that can occur all the way to this rear slot here, but there's no realistically slot that land cannot get to on those upper plateaus. And I do like this. We have a isolated plateau up here for the rearguard air slot players to use as a secondary base. We'll look to see some decentralization air facilities built there. We are seeing, I think, all of the comms success. Actually, for all the comms for Team 1 have left their main bases. And it does look like everybody on Team 2 has left their bases as well. We are at 5 minutes. This game is 20 by 20. It does take a decent amount of time for everybody to get forward and try to start throwing plasma and whatnot at one another. But a couple of early skirmishes here. We have a Maul going after a couple of these Aurora that will only go one way. And we saw an interceptor from Team 2 take out an interceptor from Team 1. I do appreciate the fact that essentially the blue players, or the colors usually associated with blue team, are actually in one side of the map. And we have red in the middle of the map with a yellow color, a white color up here. Because these are the traditional red, these are the traditional blue, and then a white. And then the other glow-in-the-dark green. So appreciate, that was probably just by happenstance, but I do appreciate the kind of like, it's really easy to point out. Okay, we have the blue corridor, the red corridor, and then the other corridor, essentially. But we are seeing a lot of fanning out here from the player of Mechs Clicker, trying to get a nice wide berth on his land grab intentions here. We do have Ninraya trying to establish a forward operating base with some Mexes and land facilities. We are seeing one Aurora being taken down, but there's really not a lot to kick Ninraya off this position, and will force these units, at least, if not back, at least a little bit to the east. But they're going to run right into the comm of Babel, and that's not really going to go anywhere for now. So he will appreciate that assistance here on that eastern side. The comm of Judah just kind of hanging out. But looks like we'll start to be moving here in that eastwardly direction. So a lot of emphasis here from Team 2 to focus this eastern side. Well, it looks like Team 1 is doing the opposite thing, but on the northern side. So 3 comms here for Team 2 and 3 comms here for Team 1. Almost 4 if you count the one in the middle, but I don't really count that one. That one's going to throw his units down the middle. So we are seeing a difference, or a divergence in strategies here. We already have a base established here for the player of Apostu. But for Caliber, he hasn't even started establishing anything, so he's a little bit farther behind. But he does have a fallback position, and does have, producing those T2 units already. Has a couple of Ilshis on his way to the front line, so he is going for tech rather than for mass T1 spam. We are seeing some units that have been diverted to one of those forward operating bases here for not for Caliber, for Mechs. And a couple of those Thams will get in. Would have liked to see an a Zooey in this mix to help take out some land facilities, but it is a nice distraction. It will kind of eat up some of the APM here from Mechs, allowing for his compatriot of Ninraya to get that tech upgrade and to kind of just distract his opponent for now. We even see those units here from Apostle trying to cut off any sort of maneuvering trickery that his opponent was trying to do the first time. This will get his units out of position, and essentially what's going to happen, unless he pulls back, he's going to draw them into an open area and then bring in his T2 units that are on their way as we speak to help assist in taking that force out. I think Caliber's plan is to try to grab the attention of both, obviously, his middle lane player that he's facing, as well as at least some of Mechs Clicker's units. And you can even see he has some units just sitting here waiting. So he's trying to distract this opponent to give enough time for these 3 players down here to the south to push on that side of the map. I love that strategy here, trying to use one player to take out essentially 2 players, and that would give some advantage for their team. But a lot of intel installations, you can see, look at this. This is the only downside with building 4 of them, is you really don't need this one, but it is a backup. A huge amount of land is just covered by those 4 intel installations. Would like to see one back here just to kind of cover the main base, but at least you have more and more, and 2 of them on the front line here for Caliber. We are seeing a puncturing force here for Team 2's player of Chiz. Again, I don't think I'm saying that name right, but I will probably be corrected in the comments, which is, I encourage that. Because I want to be corrected. I want to say it the right way for everyone, so no one is annoyed at what I'm saying. So if it's not super cringy, whatever the case may be. But we are having a base up here to the northwest here for him as well. Gonna build, hopefully builds that hydrocarbon next to kind of pump out the speed and reduction in power costs for those units. We are seeing, of course, him just walking around the map. It does have the gun upgrade. It's a lot. He has to cover essentially this whole line of land. That's a huge section of land to cover by himself. And it is, again, a 3v1 scenario, which is, again, similar to what's happening to the south. But it's just one of those situations where if you're a little too aggressive, you're a little too, pushy, it will cost you. Especially if you are a chiz in this situation. Nano repair going down for him. That's going to give him some more hit points per second and some more hit points in general. Especially if he goes for the advanced upgrade as well. But a lot of players already going for nano. Wanting to ensure that they can get out of a sticky situation. But T2 units trying to bolster these forces here for Caliber. Positioning them pretty close to that front line. Wants to probably draw in those forces away from that main base. There's one PD here, so not a whole lot, but the comm is here as well. So they want to be aware of that. I don't think Caliber can see the comm. You will see it now because it's in vision, but it is the stealth upgrade is active, so they won't be able to see it on radar. T2 going down here for him as well. Wants to ensure he can build some Utashalas and shore up this front line. We see a lot of grouping here for Team 2's comms down here. They're building some PD, trying to inch it forward and forward. Just trying to distract Mechs Clicker. Mechs Clicker has retreated to his main forward operating base here in the middle of the map. Doesn't look like a whole lot of action going out, but that force here from Mechs is going to start poking at this northwestern side. Again, trying to distract at least one of the players here on this northwestern side, allowing for an opening to occur here for his teammate up Chiz. And that is what's currently happening. Unfortunately, we have some Mongies here for that UEF player of Try. That will give him that longer range. As long as he keeps those units away from that front line, they'll be pretty well off. Triads will help in assisting with that as well. A lot of those forces will be diminished or at least have to retreat for the time being. And it does embolden Team 1's forces to move in. Looks like Legend going for the T2 Ilshis, pretty much skipping the T1 stage. He is the air player, to be fair, so we can forgive him for not going for a little more T1 land spam. Pretty much same thing what is happening here for Judah, but he's just there probably on the front line to get some efficiency for his comm and just to assist. But we're starting to get into the 13-minute stage. T3 air has been achieved here for Judah, as well as it's not him. It is RGB. He has gone air. For some reason I thought Legend went air, but still, RGB does have T3 air, so both teams have T3 air at that 13-minute mark. I like the 13 minutes because it's, again, my favorite number, so it helps me keep track of players should essentially have T3 air by then if they're going for that spot in the game. Gun speed and range going down here for RGB as well. So two of the three players will have gun. Try should get his gun as well, just to assist. He is the main force here on this northwestern side of the map. Needs to shore up those defenses. He is starting to build a solid front line. Needs to start extending that further and further. Has pulled a wall segment here to cut off any invasion, or at least slow down the invasion, because you can obviously just reclaim the walls and just get rid of them that way, or just shoot them. But it does take time and energy to do that in APM, and some players have that and some players don't, and sometimes in the heat of battle you can't really focus on shooting a wall segment that can't shoot back at you, so don't blame them there. It does look like there is more posturing here between these two red players in the middle of the map. But it does look like Apostu was able to push forward just enough, and it does look like he's going to start pushing that front line. Two players are on their way to intercept. Judah going to retreat, though. Ninraya going to just push forward. He doesn't want to get caught unawares here. Don't blame him. He has no assisting units by him, like for himself. He has his teammates' units, but not so much. Ninraya is going to produce a T1 PD fairly quickly, and those units will actually switch targets to that. That will help assist in the rapid fire taking out of those units. There is T2 units. There's some rhinos in here. There's a lot of mantis, though. And Raya is actually moving northward into the mix of those units. Probably not the best idea. Overcharges go into the main Rhino tanks. But then Raya is dropping fairly quickly. Sub 50% of his hit points. Actually sub 5,000 now. That Asylum needs to get in an assist. But there are some units starting to get underneath that shield. Will save his comm for the minute. There's a couple more tanks here. And Raya is dropping below 5,000. There are some T1 bombers overhead for him. These shimmers. Trying to just take out some of those mantis. And he drops into the red, sub 2,000 hit points. Has some artillery from these Medusa. He'll take care of those right quickly. But it does look like, given the blunt mistake here from Apostu charging forth, he almost kills a comp, so not entirely a mistake. Will have no army to defend against his move by Caliber. He's just going to push northward. I would hopefully he cuts straight down the middle. But maybe he's going to go after this base once again. But there's a lot of PD here up here. There's Mongeese. There's 3 comms. It's going to be a hard press to take out. Maybe he'll get one of them. But I feel like going after the middle player of Apostu is the better move here for Caliber. And in terms of eco, how are we doing so far? Team 1, the northeastern team, is up about 100 mass per second. So they have the advantage for now. And in terms of totals, it's about even. So Team 2 staying in the game with their... Actually... might have been that Team 2 was in the lead for a period of time, and then they lost it looks like. Because they're staying roughly on par. Team 1 starting to kind of pull ahead a little bit. But Team 2 must have been ahead in the beginning, and now Team 1 is focused a little bit more on eco. And that is the downside with not pushing as much, as it gives your opponent time to build up infrastructure, build up resources, be able to counter whatever push you are mounting. And in this case, the defender usually wins if it's the same amount of resources, just because they usually have PD, they usually have something to help counter. But this is a large T1 and T2 army here. Apostu does have a decent sized amount of rhinos in this mix, but there's a lot of Ilshis. They're known as the mobile T2 PD, and you can see them start chewing through all of those rhinos. That's their main target. He also has some Zui here for artillery. He has some THAMs in there as well. Has some T2AA cannons in there as well to help defend against any air incursions. And so I think he's just going to skate this eastern side. But there are a couple of Ilshis of Team 1's Legend Smith as well. Maybe this looks like Caliber will have to retreat. He was winning, could keep pushing this eastern side. But doesn't want to lose a lot of his forces. Does not want to have the same issue that Apostu had earlier. And will retreat. We didn't even take a look at rankings here for both of our teams. The highest and lowest rated players, or at least tied for the lowest rated players in the game, are on Team 1. We have 2 1700s and 2 1000s versus Team 2's 1000 of Judah and 2 1400s of Chiz and Caliber. So, again, it's the outliers versus the average. Obviously, air quotes around that. It's like you take the median mode, that whole statistics thing. That's pretty much, usually that's how it usually works. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it gets fairly close. I would have probably preferred maybe a 1700 on Team 2 and probably just switch a 1400. But, I mean, given the fact that it's a 93%, 20 rating points per player lower on Team 2, which amounts to 100 in total, is not that bad, to be fair. What do we got here to the east? Nano repair going down here for Mechs Clicker. And we have another army incursion here from Chiz, and he has a bunch of Team 1 tanks. Kind of has some Ilshis in there, and he's charging with his commander. Again, this is really risky. There's 3 commanders and a bunch of long-range guns here. Different types of PD designed for different things. You have the Utashalas designed for those T2 units. The Triads designed for T2 units as well. But they can also hit T1 units very effectively. The Utashalas, I mean, they're point and click, but the shields will go down. Chiz is pushing forward. There's a lot of shields surrounding Legend Smith. All of these Mongeese are used very effectively, staying behind the main PD line, ensuring their survival because there's not a lot of hit points. But Legend Smith is suffering a decent amount, but now the Mongeese open up. It looks like there's just Ravager fire, but it's just T2 units. We have a horde of gunships now on the way, these Renegades from the air player of RGB. And Chiz has pushed forward and risked it. He should just charge in. He's going to die. There's 3 comms nearby. 2 of them are actually very low. 2 of them in the yellow, 1 almost in the red. And this will be the first kill here for Team 1. Those gunships will go up in smoke. And it's now a 5v4 in favor of Team 1. Almost at the 20-minute mark. So the... Not the curse, but what would we call it? The standard... Not standard, but the... I don't know what to call it. The... Usually somebody dies before 20 minutes thing. I wouldn't say the standard, but the average. I don't know what you would call that. But a horde of Titans, like all on the line here. For Team 1's play of Trigram. This will allow him to reinforce his position. He lost a lot of his units here. He only has a couple of Mongoose. Actually, he only has one Mongoose left. And everything else was destroyed. But these Titans will do a very large, not a very good amount, very good job of holding back these T1 and T2 units. Ilshis can take them out, but it takes a while and they have to be focused. They can't just be like thrown at the enemy kind of thing. These Ilshis here from the orange player of Legendsmith will be taken up by Caliber. He doesn't have a rank of veterancy yet, neither does his opponent of Apostu. And Caliber punching up his weight class a little bit with 300 rating points below Apostu. And he's doing fairly well considering. And yeah, ranking isn't the only thing. Experience, how long you played the game. Maybe Caliber was a higher rated player, now he's a lower rated player. You know, all that stuff does come into play. And I feel like if you've been out of it does, if you haven't played the game for like a couple months, it does take you a couple games to kind of get back into the swing of things. Like everything, it's like riding a bike. You have to practice a little bit, but once you practice, you kind of get back into it kind of thing. Or it's like, I don't know, if you know a second language and haven't used it for a very long time, it takes you a minute to kind of come back into it. You're like, well, I haven't used these muscles in my throat in a long time. I have to like get used to them kind of thing. But a small bombing run here from Team 2's player of Ninraya will go after nothing. They'll just die. I don't know what they were going for there, but there's some sniper bots going after that column of mechs. Should be a little bit careful. He does have stealth, but he doesn't have cloaking, which is why Team 2 can see him. I was trying to think of the word. But there's a horde of bricks on their way, or column of bricks, I should say, not horde. There's some harbingers in the mix as well. There's a T2 transport bringing in more sniper bots as we speak. This brick line will start pushing forward. A decent amount of Oblivions will just start tearing through those bricks. But Mechs has the laser on his commander. I didn't even notice that. That's going to be a huge value target, and Ninra pointed out that the laser is on that commander. Caliber is in the middle of the map, starting to be surrounded by Titans and units here from Apostu. He has his own Ilshis going after those Titans. He needs to turn around here. Those hit points will fall fairly quickly. Two of those Titans are down. What the heck was that? Ninra goes down. Not Ninra goes down. Mechs gets defeated by Ninra. I don't... Maybe the Oblivions got him? Sad, says Mechs. Yeah, it looks like he just came in range of them. No? I don't know. Maybe it was the sniper bots and the harbingers, maybe. It's, yeah, it's kind of what it looks like. Just all the sniper bots got to him. And that is the risky play here from Mechs. You have that laser. It's high damage. But, you know, you just run into the issue of if you get too far forward and you can't retreat and there's sniper bots chasing you, not looking good. There's a lonely brick. It gets sniped by one of those sniper bots. There's even artillery raining in too. So there's miasma fire. That could have done him in as well. But let's see. Minimum range. Yeah, he was outside the minimum range, so probably could have been that as well. Probably a combination of a lot of things. But this will open up Team 2's side of things to push forward northward. Very similar to what happened on the western side against Chiz. And now it's a 4v4. And honestly, with the advantage that Team 1 has, they're not using it. I mean, there's a small base here, but they can easily avoid it by going west or south. You know, they have to worry about this middle section with a couple of Othams versus only T2. Well, there's some T3 now appearing. There's Loyalists and Bricks as well. How is the air game going? Well, we have a Strat Bomber here for Judah. We have a Colossus being built as we speak here for the Stitch Blue player of Babel. Hopefully Babel will bring this forward. I always am wondering why some players build their experimentals here and then have to spend the 10 minutes to walk it to the front line. I understand that's where all their build power is, which makes sense. But it's like, why not just send the build power here and build it? But then there's the risk of, oh, if they get overrun, then all that goes to waste. And I get that part. So, you know, again, this game is all about risk and reward. How much you're going to risk for how much reward you're going to get, kind of thing. But I don't see any other players on Team 1 going, okay, we have a Fat Boy started, but not a huge issue. Trigram has noticed the strat, and they're going after the comm of Apostu. Apostu is dodging very well, actually. Probably only took one shot. All those strats will get taken out. We have some Corsairs going after the comm, so counter snipage going on. Caliber takes a decent amount of those hits, but will survive. Those Corsairs needed like double the amount or needed a second run. Probably both. Another one comes in, and there it goes. That wasn't going to last very long. But the ASFs here for Team 2's player of Judah will just crash into the ASF here against RGB. And not really the good engage here. It decides to retreat them anyways, and this is a very, very bad engage here for the air player for Team 2. Essentially all of his ASF are gone, slows down, but now that will essentially kill them all. Team 1 has air dominance, not even air control, air dominance. There's no ASFs. There's a couple at the base for Team 2, but that is it. And 25 minutes, I mean, RGB has what? 30 versus probably the 10 that maybe Team 2 has together between Caliber and Judah. So, yeah, I can say dominance pretty well in terms of percentages and proportions. But Team 1 needs to make that work here, and there's a huge amount of bricks and some loyalists here. I wouldn't be surprised to see Apostu charge this forth. There is a chicken here, so it's essentially some Authams and a chicken, and the experimental versus a bunch of bricks and loyalists. I'm probably going to bet on the chicken just due to the supporting Authams and the comm if he decides to use it. He does have 20,000 hit points. Should get that advanced nano repair, bump that up to, 50,000. That'll help sway this army fairly quickly. We have some more momentum here for Team 1 on this northwestern side or the top lane. We see Legend Smith have a nice firebase here, has AA, Flak, and Sams. He also has land facility, stealth, a couple of Authams. I think some Utashalas are playing with some wall segments. Trigram for the triple question mark clan tag. He's built the Fat Boy we saw building earlier. And all this is going to do is put more pressure on Team 2 side of things for Caliber. Caliber really looking out here. Not a lot of those forces here from Team 1 have really pushed any of these mexes or any of these positions. So that's just free eco here for Caliber. He's at 438, but Apostu is on 770. That's a lot more eco, and that is translated to Team 1 winning by 200 mass per second and have crossed the 1 million mark threshold for total mass accrued. More Corsairs come in, get annihilated, probably going after that chicken or even just the comm directly. The comm has retreated, so he's going to stay off, and those ASF are actually protecting him. Want to ensure the survival of Caliber in the middle. I think that's Team 2's goal. We have base wars going down here. A crab has been completed and just sitting at the main base waiting for his opponent to attack. Those artillery will start chewing through those sniper bots. They need to fall back or they're just going to get wrecked. There goes another one. And see, they're very weak, and so you have to weigh that option. There goes another one. Yeah, sniper bot's not the best thing to take out a base with artillery. Not the best idea. But that chicken is going to just sit at range, take out some of those loyalists and some of those Ilshis. Oh, nice quad kill. That was a great shot. Still needs to kill 11,000 more mass for that upgrade. But now, Caliber's going, I wonder if I can push this. Pings go down here, probably from Team 1. And they are called to retreat. Caliber probably was like, oh, let me see if he'll move. Oh, he moved. Okay, I'm going to move forward a little bit. We have some artillery here in the form of these Suthanos. That's how you say that. From Legend Smith. And unless Caliber notices that's just going to be free damage, it does take a decent amount of time to reload and reposition if he keeps moving, which he shouldn't be doing, but he had a shot on those Authams. That's what I would focus on. It's going to take a long time to kill the chicken, take out the supporting units, and then go after the chicken. That would be my guess in that kind of long-range scenario. But there is a push by that Colossus we saw built a long time ago. That crab walked forward But now the Colossus is going to come into range. Oh, it's just bare. Look at that. That's that red line. It's slowly encompassing that crab. Once it gets halfway to that, that red circle, that's when it will open fire, and it does. Takes out the transport, just grabs it out of the ground. But that Colossus is taking a lot of damage from all these bricks. These units need to come in, but a second Colossus will come in. Even if the first one dies, it'll be kind of difficult for that second Colossus to chew through. Oh, okay, never mind. There's a second crab. Never mind. This push isn't going to go the way that Team 2 thought it would. Both the Colossus should have been together. They were not, and this is going to be a mass dump here for Team 1 on their doorstep. Pump the eco for Apostu and probably just turn it into another crab, what I would assume. That's what they're building. 2 crabs starting to be dangerous. 3 crabs will be super dangerous. Into the middle of the map, the posturing still going on, but now there's a secondary army here from Tri. We see a couple of Othams take out these Othams here from Caliber as well, trying to reinforce this position. Let's go kind of skirt this side of the map. That's not really going to go very well. We have some Othams opening fire against these Loyalists who can walk faster than some of the units here for Team 1. And it is 30 minutes now. Is anybody building a nuke or artillery or something? We should see that at this stage in the game at some point. Don't see anything in that base. Nothing there. We have a Novax, which is almost completed. So, something. Standoff tactics starting to be a thing in Team 1's mind. There's 3 crabs here. A 4th one. Actually, I didn't notice that there were 3. Maybe this one came from somewhere else. But the 4th one, that's very dangerous here. There's 2 Colossus Rex that they can grab. The chicken will turn around and engage. And all those Othams are fleeing. Those Othams should be assisting this push. Took out a decent amount of those Loyalists. Now there's some Percys here helping to assist a lot of shielding here. For not a lot of Percys. You got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like 11 Percys. That's not, honestly, that's not a lot. It's not a lot of Percys. Should be about 20, I'd say, in this army. Yeah, there's a lot of shields. Yeah, they'll help protect. But once those shields are chewed through, that's it. Game, set, match. We do have a nuke, and it's more than 50% of the way loaded. Okay. We have a second nuke, and this one is almost loaded. Does Team 1 know about... that is Team 2. Does Team 1 know about it? They know about both of them. Okay. And do you have SMD? They have their own nuke launcher, but I feel like this one was just built. Their SMD is almost loaded. If Caliber launches it now, it should have... Okay, as I'm speaking, he launches it. It should have enough time to get there before that nuke loads. And where is it going? Not going there. Going deep for this position. If Trigram does not move, this position will die. It's going after the Novax. Could have gone after the nuke. Do they know about it? Yes, they do, but they don't know what time that the SMD was built, so that's kind of a fair play. But the SMD is being loaded quite quickly. Let's see. Would it have been in enough time? Let's see. Let's kind of zoom out a little bit. Seeing that orange bar, yellowish orange bar load. Trigram goes, well, that's going to suck. It would have been close. It would have been very close. But kaboom. Takes out the comm. Takes out the Novax Center. L nuked, says Trigram, and that is a kill hit for Caliber. It is now a 4v3 in favor of Team 2. And these crabs are pushing forward. 2 of them have died, but there's a lot of bricks still here. There's a lot of miasmas that have been built up to try to take these out. They've done a good job taking out 2 of them. You can see the hit points just being shredded. But Team 2 really doesn't have a whole lot on the ground. They have 1 Colossus on its way. There's a Tsar here next door, so that'll be interesting. Team 1's Air Force is over here to the north. So it'll take a while to respawn, especially when it's a 20 by 20. But Chicken's starting to use this opportunity to push against what was once Trigon's main force and base. We have, of course, Legend Smith trying to hold off with some Othams and some Percys. But Apostu will seize the opportunity and charge down the middle of the map. Those crabs starting to be eviscerated by that laser from that donut. We have some ASFs coming to defend it. We know Team 1 should be inbound with their ASFs. Yep, their position is called. They're moving over to assist. We have Team 1 bombers trying to take out some stragglers up here to the northwest. But how is that looking? The ASFs have been positioned in front of that incoming ASF force. The Colossus will fall, but they've taken out one of the crabs. The other one is the weaker of the two that we saw earlier. Now the ASFs will start to engage. They're engaging the enemy ASFs. They should be targeting the Colossus here pretty quick. The Colossus, the Tsar. The Tsar will start to retreat, try to use its missiles for as long as it can. But of course the ASFs chew through those shields fairly quickly. There goes the hit points. Gets a rank of veterancy. That'll help a little bit. Not a lot though. Missiles starting to take their toll. And now it looks like Team 1 will not be able to take out that Tsar. Oh, no, it'll be close. They have assistance here from Apostu. It will go down just barely. And now a second nuke for Team 2 will be launched. This time going after this position? Oh. I mean, if the army doesn't move, that'd be a great kill. But I don't know. We have chickens starting to defend the map against some Othams. More and more experimentals appearing here for Calvert, just pumping them out because he has the eco to do so. He's at 500 versus his opponent of Apostu at 755, which I feel like he's been at for a while now. That could have been reclaim related early on, but Team 2 has now skyrocketed, and that nuke lands and takes out almost the entire army. Kaboom! That attack was delivered. Should not have listened to you, says Ninraya. Oh, he must have been talking about earlier on this eastern side. Should have waited for them to attack, but now that megalith is still charging forth. That Colossus is being surrounded by bricks, but there's not a lot of bricks here. They need the firepower from that Colossus, that crab. There's a secondary crab coming in. We have some engineers on the field to start scooping up all that reclaim. Team 2 needs an answer to this. Yeah, they're going to get the reclaim from that Colossus, but not Colossus. I keep thinking Colossus. The Tsar, and they're funneling it into a new Tsar. But I don't know. Air grade starting to be flushed out here for Team 2's player of Judah. Probably same thing here on the northern side. It's all in one little clump, but you know, better than nothing. It looks like there is some preparations for some sort of air grid or artillery or something here in the middle. Yeah, that's not a bad position. I feel like putting everything in one place isn't the best idea, but if you're putting an air grid here, that's actually a pretty good idea. Or land, one of the two. That says only two options, essentially, except artillery. But I hear something going on. Trying to figure out, okay, that crab is still pushing forth. It's gotten to the Tsar wreck. The Tsar here for Team 2 is almost finished. Can they finish it in time? No, it'll finish in time. Only 2,000 hit points left. It might take a couple shots from the crab, but the crab will not make it in time. The Tsar is finished, and now will use its laser to take that crab out fairly definitively, actually. And now ASFs are called in to deal with the T1 bombers, but the missiles from that Tsar will take it out. Does look like the crab is focusing on the PD and the SMD, it looks like. Will they be able to kill that off? Yes, they do. There's the SMD is still online. Bricks are trying to come in and assist, but there's PD and there's a Tsar. Not really going to go well. And a bunch of T1 bomber spam, so not really going well. Look at the devastation here on this eastern side. Everything essentially is gone. We have just crabs roaming the battlefield, making sure everything is dead. The northwestern side, same thing. Look at the devastation here. Team 2 has lost a huge section of their map control and therefore has lost a lot of their mass. They were up to 1.8, now they're at 1.6. They might start be spamming up some RAS comms. At least somebody should be at this point. You know, usually we see at least one person do it per game on each side. It kind of just happens. But it does look like it is mass fab farms here for Babel. That is his goal, not doing the mobile RASCOM trick of like, well, my eco moves, so you can't really shoot it with artillery thing. Let's see in the middle. Yep, he was going for artillery. He's going to plan at least, I think, 2 more. I do love this layout because the P-gens will help assist the shielding, reduce the cost of the keeping the shield online. Of course, to get the max adjacency bonus for the artillery. But the issue is that you have artillery and an SMD and a nuke launcher all right next to each other. Not the best idea for an artillery strike, especially if Team 2 pulls out some Hovathams or Dukes, or even emissaries would be devastating because of their secondary pulse that goes out. Kind of like the miasma, but it's even stronger because it's T3 artillery. But it does look like SAM sites are starting to litter the battlefield on this eastern side, nullifying Team 2's use of air. We have 3 crabs here, and this is, again, super dangerous here for Team 2. They need a response other than air. They have 1 Colossus. They need probably 5 more. Team 2 also has those 2 nuke silos. This one at 1 nuke loaded. This one at 3/4 the way, 2 and nuke loaded as well. So 2 nukes potentially here for Team 2. There is 1 nuke loaded. A second one almost loaded here for Team 1. So Team 1 has almost 2 as well. Laser going on the way for RGB. Maybe he's planning a teleport route? I don't know. He built RAS. We'll see what he does with that. The Cyberans have the teleporting nonsense with the Maser laser. So, you know, got to watch out for that. Got to have tele-defense around your comm and vital structures. Chicken says try. Yep, just trying to coast that western side. But there's a lot of Othams here. And Percy's and artillery as well. So that chicken probably not going nowhere. And now they're starting to push that northern side of the map southward, trying to go after these engineers and a couple of these Othams just kind of on patrol going for mass. How's the ecos? Still Team 2 is winning in terms of generated per second, and Team 1 has caught up to the mass accrued just barely. I mean, 40,000 mass is a decent chunk, but with all of these experimentals dead, a fourth crab. The critical mass of crabs is starting to be a problem here, but a huge hold of T1 bombers are on their way. Nukes are even going to land. That's not a good idea. Not really worth the attempt. All those crabs will move due to the fact of those bombers coming in. And they will do a decent number on that lead crab, dropping it, you know, a decent chunk of hit points, but there's so much AA, it does not really matter. And even ASFs come in to assist. Some of them get a second pass, but not by much. The nuke will come in. Will it even do a whole lot? It's a little bit on the edge. It'll kill 1 crab, severely injure 2 of them, and this one comes out essentially unscathed. Could have been a little further eastward, honestly, and probably taking out some of this positioning here with the TMD and SAM sites. Another nuke from Team 2. Team 1 keeping all of their nukes to themselves. They don't want to launch them quite yet. They finished 1 artillery. Where is this one going? It's going eastward again. Going here, trying to anticipate the retreat of these crabs. But honestly, I think the crabs are moving faster than the nuke at this point. And maybe they'll clip this one. But still, that's still crabs online. Maybe we'll see. We'll give it a minute. Artillery raining in on the position of Ninraya. He is going for the heavy shield as well. That nuke will turn downward. Let's see, will they clip anything? Nope. They don't clip either of those. This one will suffer a lot of hit point damages, but 3 crabs still online. Kind of a waste. I don't think I can do anything, says Ninraya. Well, you can just build more shields. Building artillery is not really going to help. You do have a Azar you could use as shielding, essentially. But it looks like the artillery has switched targets, going after the air grid here for Team 2's player of Caliber. They do strike one of the P-Gens. One more shot will take that one out, but he's building an Awasha. Oh, you just love to see it. ASF being taken out by those shots from the sky. And that air grid starting to suffer. There's only 1 shield. There should be more of them. Artillery, actually there's 2 shields, but both of them are gone. This bomber might not finish. But again, there goes that whole build the nuke next to volatile structures push vital structures. A nuke is launched. It's going after this position? Where's it going? Oh, it's going after the 4 chickens that are pushing the center of the map. And it does look like Apostle has judged their trajectory fairly well. He'll probably take out at least these 3 minimum, if not clip the 4th one. Nope, they don't clip the 4th one. This one is still alive, but it won't matter because the Ironstone will kill it. There's one chicken remaining. These forces will now come in to deal with that. Oh yeah, kaboom! That third chicken will die. 4 chicken trying to escape. Was a good push effort here from Team 2, but it's just tactical nuke point defense. That nuke launcher is still online. That SMD is still online. The bomber's in the green now. They're building more shields as we speak to help protect that production. But honestly, I don't know if it'll be enough. There's a lot of SAM sites over here to the east. They're starting to, filter their way everywhere. Layered defenses. Love to see it. Love to see it from Apostu. He's doing the right move, and they are everywhere. Look at all of them. How many SAM sites? 102, and look at the coverage of this. I mean, yeah, there's not a lot of them in one area, but when an air unit flies over, they are constantly being shot at all the time. Love the move here from Apostu. Pings go down. I think they noticed that Awash is done. Yep, it is done. And now the air grid starting to be built here for Babel. Those look like the artillery is targeting the mass FAF farm underneath shield coverage. Needs like 2 more shielding at least. But it does look like a second artillery is built. At least that's what it looks like. Is there another one I don't know about? Another nuke launches. Where is this one going? What's going for this front line? Going to soften up the advance. But now, like I said earlier, 5 Colossus have been built. 1 Tsar. The Tsar probably should move a little bit to the west. Just a little bit. Just a smidgen. It is faster than the Colossus. These 3 are, these 2 at least are moving northwestwardly. That crab dies. Probably just control K-ing it so that none of the Colossus get veterancy. But that nuke will land essentially right next to that Colossus. 3 of them are severely weakened. Maybe these crabs will push forward. Oh, no. Excuse me. It was not control K. There was a bunch of missiles over here. And those missiles miss. Those missiles shoot underneath the crab. They don't get any AoE damage or very little. Let's see if this another batch will do it. Nope. That's not... Doesn't do a whole lot. Because the crabs are tall. You gotta account for that. Physics and structures are a thing. Hit points. The hitboxes in this game have been really well defined. So there's a space underneath the crab you can shoot through. Well, you definitely know that you can shoot through it. Othens will clear up this Medusa push. A couple of them get by, but not a whole lot. Easily dealt with. I feel like there's 2 artillery, but I feel like I'm just missing something. Well, I guess it's just 1. No. Wait, that's T2 artillery. We have a chicken going after a fat boy, and that chicken will kill that fat boy quite definitively. Oh, that's gotta hurt. Almost got away with it. Team 2's base is starting to be in tatters here. Artillery raining in all the time. We have a scav that's under construction here for Team 1. We have a lot of gunships probably going to be used to defend that scav. Power problems here for Team 1's player of Apostu. And building all of the crabs simultaneously, because what's better than 1 crab is 3 crabs at the same time. Look at that. Look at all those crabs being built. That's crazy. Just focus on 1, you would feel like, but might as well. If you have the eco for it, might as well spend it. But Apostu has been defeated by Nainrai, and oh my goodness, he built a tactical missile launchers right next to him, like not that far away. He should have spotted that, but didn't. And now this game will drop to a 4v2. That was an excellent snipe play, and that crab will die? Question mark. But Caliber is killed up by RGB. Looks like it was by Strat Bombers at almost the same time. And now it's a 3v2, still in favor of Team 2. Strat Bombers will go after nothing because they didn't get an opportunity to hit anything else. Where did that bomber go? No, that's no. Where is that experimental bomber? Hopefully it just didn't get wasted because that'd be disappointing. Let's look for mass totals. That's a chicken. That's a crab.
Strategic launch detected.
Another nuke is launched here, this time from Team 2. Oh, there's that Awasha bomber. It's coming in. Brace for impact. What is it going after, I wonder? We have a couple of Corsairs coming after it as well. Will it reach its target? It sees the end in sight. ASF coming in the top. It does not kill it off. Or sorry, it does kill it off, excuse me. It does not get to its main target. And that's due to all those SAM sites. And it just really didn't have a good approach. Probably would have come northward, but they would have seen it in time, I guess. But those were interceptors, not Corsairs. Apologies for that. But 2 Colossus push through the center of the map. There's one There's one crab in defense. There's a chicken over here. It's not being moved forward. Lightning tanks doing something on that western side. Don't know what they're doing. Who died? Oh, Legend Smith gets killed by Judah. And it does look like Judah died. No, Judah's still alive. Looks like... What was that? What? Wait, I'm confused. What killed it? Was it just the nuke? Oh, I guess it was just the nuke. Suicide Telemaser, huh? Says Legend Smith. Wait, I'm confused. But Judah's still alive. So it couldn't have been a teleport because there's PD here that would have killed him, so that wouldn't have worked. Where is your... Oh, your comm's back in your base. Yeah, so I don't know what that was about. But Judah got the kill for it, so... The only thing I can think of was the nuke, but I didn't see any... You know, I mean, yeah, kind of. That looks like a nuke explosion. That looks like a comm death. It's just weird the way that looks, but that, yeah, it looks about right. Just weird because I looked at that and there's no real indication of that. Now it's a 3v1. It is RGB versus the world here. The Cybern player slowly building that Scathis. I don't know if he'll finish it though with the APM advantage in the hands of Team 2. He does have 1 artillery. He has 1 nuke left in the clip. Yellow, what are you doing, man? Says Apostu. We have 1 nuke still loaded. Nope, none of them are loaded. But now they're building artillery. We're going to counter that disruptor. It's about time that Team 2 start getting into that artillery game. Colossus are charging forward. Stop and focus, says Apostu. Doesn't want to lose this match. He was the tied for the highest rated player in the game. Going to give some advice. Sometimes it's, frustrating advice, but I know he's trying to help at least at the bare minimum. But you can see the map. Team 2 operating probably about 25-30% of the map versus Team 1. You can just see a charge down the middle. Lots of spy planes trying to get to know what's going on in their bases. But with the layered SAM defenses, it's very hard to churn through those. Those Colossus are stealing NGs here. Stealing them from the front line like my last video where Colossus were stealing NGs while they were building a chicken. Airfight to the west. Looks like it's going to go in the way of Team 2. And even if Team 2 realistically loses it, I feel like they still have the advantage. They have the APM advantage, essentially. And they have a lot of ASF built up in reserve as well. So it's not really a huge issue. The strat bombers are the main target. Looks like those ASFs have smelt the hint of some dastardly plan here by Judah. Here come those ASFs. They're trying to chase after them. They'll kill a couple of them, but this ASF's going in a different direction. That he's just feeding GC's Mega while doing some stupid stuff. I mean, those Colossus are roaming the map. They're trying to do what they can here for Team 2's player of Babel. Both their highest rated players are gone on Team 2. The highest rated players on Team 1 are gone. So essentially it's just 1,100, like they said, versus 213s and a 1,000. Again, rating is not everything, but it does play a role. Artillery's still raining in. This is a huge target to take out with all these P-gens just in a line. Like, oh, look, it's not shielded. It's not anything. It's just hanging out. The first Havatham has been completed for Team 2, which was once Caliber's main base. I heard bombers going off. Oh, they're going off over here. Okay, they're going after these units here in the middle. These Othams and lightning tanks. A couple of those Suthanas. Those again, those those Seraphim names are hard. Like some of them, I'm like, nope, not even gonna try. Like, not even gonna try it. But RGB just sitting in his base, hanging next to some pigeons. That is not a good place to sit, my friend. Sit probably like right. No, you need to be in range of PD. Probably either here Or no, right here would be a good place. You're next to the PD. You're out of range of the P-gens. Probably in the middle of two shields is also the best because you get the best of both worlds, both shields. But decent horde of strat bombers built up. Maybe they'll charge in and take out the comm. It's a lot of AA to get through though. There's another set of them as well. So how many Judah did you build? 30. Not. I was like, where'd they go? Okay, we're transferred to Babel. No, not Babel. Ninraya. 30, 40 now. That's a lot of strats. That could puncture everything and take out the comm of RGB, but he needs to move. I gave you 4 strats. There's Judah. That's probably smart to point that out. Like, I probably wouldn't have noticed. It would have taken me a minute. Be like, why do I have a Sam strats? I didn't make those. But the Colossus is staying at range against these 2 monkeys. The monkey's not moving forward. There they go. They're giving the order. And this is where that APM taxing is going on. You can't control everything all at once. The second Colossus will then chase down that other chicken. Pretty much 2 for the price of 1. But now we have 2 crabs here with 4 Colossus in defense. That's going to go the way of the Colossus with another one on its way to assist. Where are those strat bombers? They're still in reserve. Out of arty range, says Ninraya. Like he might do better if he took hands off keyboard. So there's just some annoyance going down from Apostate, which I don't blame him. It's hard to watch, a game you've been playing and players are not playing the way you would like them to be played, or they're making dumb moves, whatever the case may be. It is frustrating. I do understand his annoyance, but at some point, it is a game. You can always play another one tomorrow or the next day, unless for some reason you're quitting today for some reason. And then turn around and wow, okay, so that's kind of harsh. And RGB saying, like, just, dude, relax. I'm doing my best here. Come on. Wow, save embarrassment and control K. That's okay. That's not okay. You can't play this game at all. No. He was doing pretty well. He had, a decent amount of progress with his Air Force. He was building a Scathis. He's the last player on his team to be alive, to be fair. So he did something right in that aspect. These look nice, this caliber. Yeah, that's nice. But the nukes, the apostle says that nuke's gonna miss, which, yeah, I feel like that's gonna happen. And then, maybe no. Oh no, that's an engineer. I thought that was the nuke. The nuke is inbound. It might clip this one. Another nuke is launched. This time again here from Team 1's player of RGB. Those strat bombers hovering on that western side of the map. Nuke goes off. Doesn't really, kind of maybe singes one of them, but doesn't really do a whole lot of damage. The second one's going straight after that Air Force. Then Ryers built some missile launches again, trying to just puncture those shields. There's no TMD here. And now that Colossus has actually made it to the main base that was once... who was orange? Was that Legend? Legend Smith. Colossus goes down. It does look like the player of RGB control Ks. Yeah, like Ninraya saying he did your best. Like, I love that your opponent is more cordial than your own teammate. Like, that says something. That nuke does land and take out a lot of ASF, to be fair, but the nukes could have been a little bit more on point. Even a counter nuke was launched to go after this base here. There actually was no... there was an SMD, and it was loaded, but you might as well fire it at this point. But this is a win here for Team 2. Not a flawless victory. They still had 2 players die, but 3 out of 5 isn't that bad. It does look like a couple of strats were brought in, but I would have liked to see a play with these nice little formation here. I would have loved to see something with all of these strat bombers, but it just was too risky with all of the SAM coverage. It just wasn't like, yeah, you could probably get maybe half, maybe. There's a chicken up here to the northwest, and Ryer's building that missile launcher. The move that surprised me was the fact that he was able to build that position here and snipe the comm that was literally right there, which is amazing. Like, you would think that, oh, the comm is there. You should be aware of that. But something I've learned while casting over 100 games of FAF is a lot of times players lose their comms. They're like, oh, I'm just busy doing whatever else. And yeah, I'm in this like giant mech suit that I have to make sure that I survive and can go nuclear if it takes enough hits. but they just kind of just put it somewhere and just kind of forget about it. And honestly, I haven't played the game in a minute, and I think it's been too long, but I lose my calm all the time too. It's just you get focused on managing, all these units and structures and building and NGs and reclaim and eco and a whole bunch of other stuff. You just kind of just forget that your calm's a thing, and then your calm dies, and you're like, oh, that's where I put it. But I don't blame him. Like I think the underrated player of the game, Ghostin and Raya, held off the East for a long time. Had almost two great teleport plays. One here on who was that? Mechs, I think. I think he killed Mechs. Maybe that was Apostu. That was one of the two. No, I think Mechs was on this side. So Mechs died early on. So yeah, it was probably Apostu. And then was going to do a second one over here, which would have worked had not the player of RGB left. But again, overall, it was a good match. We didn't get to see one of those game enders, but it was close. One was building. Decent amount of nukes. I'd say it's a pretty good game. Let me know how you feel. Was it a good game? Was it not? Was it a terrible game? Let me know down in the comments how you feel. Please like the video if you did. Of course, if you've been enjoying my content, this is the first video you found and you enjoy it, or you've been watching the entire time since I've started. You've been enjoying it. Please hit that subscribe button down below the video. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see all of you in the next one.